It started as something small, so small that at first it didn't feel worth worrying about. The first night the phone rang at 3:17, not around that time, not approximately, exactly 3:17. I remember because I had woken up a minute earlier, without knowing why. The room was dark, quiet, and then the phone vibrated on the bedside table. Unknown number. I stared at the screen for a long time before answering. When I finally did, I said nothing. Neither did whoever was on the other end. There was only a sound, very faint, almost nothing. At first I thought it was static, then I realized it wasn't. It sounded like a room, my room. I could hear a low hum, like distant electricity, a subtle shift of fabric, and then breathing. Slow, calm, too calm. I hung up. The second night, it happened again, 3:17. This time, I didn't answer right away. I watched the phone vibrate until it stopped. 10 seconds later, a voicemail appeared. I shouldn't have listened to it. When I did, I felt my stomach tighten. It was the same sound, the same breathing, but now I could also hear something else. A faint creak. I waited, slowly, carefully. I turned my head toward the bedroom door. It was open. On the third night, I answered immediately. I didn't speak. I didn't breathe. I just listened. The sound on the line was clearer now, too clear. I could hear the exact rhythm of breathing. My breathing. I tested it. I held my breath. The sound on the phone stopped. I exhaled. The sound returned. That was the first time I felt real fear. Over the next few nights, I started noticing patterns. At 3:17, the call always came. And whatever I did in my apartment, I heard it through the phone. When I shifted in bed, I heard fabric move. When I swallowed, I heard a faint click. When I stood up, the sound of footsteps echoed softly through the speaker. But there was always a delay. A small one, just enough to notice. Like the phone was following me, but never quite keeping up. I stopped sleeping. Instead, I waited. I sat on the edge of the bed every night, staring at the phone, watching the clock. 3:16, 3:17. Vibration. I answered. That night, something changed. I heard my breathing again, but there was another sound underneath it, a second breath, not synced with mine. Too close. I whispered, "Who is this?" For the first time, the breathing on the phone paused. Then something moved, not in my room, on the phone. Footsteps, slow, careful, as if someone was walking through my apartment, learning its shape. I stood up. The footsteps continued. I walked toward the hallway. So did they. I checked every room. Nothing. No one. Yet the phone continued to breathe. I walked back into the bedroom. The footsteps stopped. The breathing matched mine again. That night I didn't hang up. I stayed on the line until sunrise. On the sixth night, I tried something different. At 3:16, I turned the phone off. At 3:17, the screen lit up anyway. Incoming call. Unknown number. I answered with shaking hands. The sound was louder now, clearer. I could hear my own heartbeat, and then a whisper. So quiet, it barely existed. It said my name, in my voice. That was when I understood. Whoever was calling me wasn't outside. It wasn't in my apartment. It wasn't even awake. It was ahead of me, living the same night, just slightly earlier. On the final night, I decided to end it. I stayed awake all day. No naps, no rest. I needed to be awake at 3:17. I needed to see it coming. 3:15. My eyes burned. 3:16. My head felt heavy. 3:17. The phone rang. I answered. The breathing was frantic now, uneven, panicked. I heard movement, fast, careless footsteps. A voice, my voice, whispered urgently, "Don't answer it." Then, a sharp sound, plastic snapping, glass cracking, the unmistakable sound of a phone breaking. The line went dead. And at that exact moment, I woke up. My heart was racing. The room was dark, quiet. The phone was on the bedside table, unbroken. The clock read 3:17. And as I reached for the phone, it started to vibrate.